see my staff just to say thumbs up. That way, if they happen to see it, they'll.
There's two guys that came down here and showed us their program. That's what this is. I'm at home when I tell you discussion.
It's all right.
Let's say she asked me to do something
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The June 19th meeting of the Committee on Ways and Means is now called to order. We begin identification by Councilmember Griffin.
I'd just like us to use this time to have a moment of silence for the Emmanuel 9 and the Charleston 9, who both celebrated anniversaries this week. Amen.
He will entertain a motion for approval of 2018 minutes, 24th of May.
Thank
Properly
you.
moving second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposers? The ayes have it. Bids and purchases?
So moved. Second.
Councilmember.
Yeah, as I was looking over that item, it looks to me like there's something missing there, and I just want to be sure, if you look at that stuff that's in our package, it only had like page 1 and then page 3 and 4, and it had a total of $127,000, and it only showed the monitors and the keyboards. It didn't say anything about the computers, which is the biggest one. And it looked to me like some pages were left out, and I just wanted to be sure how many computers we were buying, and if that was correct. At least it wasn't my scan package. Maybe it was in the what?
It's Gary.
I'm sorry, Mr. Moody. I just walked in and I heard your question. We got that from IT.
Well,
and you asked
that one item on bids and purchases. It goes from 1 to 4, and pages 2 and 3 are missing, and it shows on page 4 the recap for $127,000.
Yes, sir. We may have made a mistake and left that off. If you look at the cover, we're buying 100 Dell desktop PCs. So we may have made that mistake.
The computers are $1,000 a piece.
Yes, sir.
And the peripheral stuff that we got is $100.
Yes, sir. So I apologize for that mistake.
Any other questions? If no other questions, Chair will entertain a motion for...
Wait, Council, okay, you don't have a question? Okay.
Properly moving seconded, we approve bids and purchases. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposers? The ayes have it. Budget and Finance for Revenue Collection. Properly moving second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? The ayes have it. Budget, Finance, and Revenue Collection approval of budget transfer for the operation of 529 meeting.
Second.
Councilmember Moody?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
It's all right.
As I was reading over this, I wanted to kind of find out how this worked with regard to our master drainage plan. It looks to me like we're approving something here, and I understand this first try-on is really good, but my understanding was that we were going to do a master drainage plan before we started figuring out, how much money we needed for what projects, what order, and all of a sudden we're looking at the financing part of this and then we've got a basic plan. So I'm trying to figure out how all this is working together.
We have a lot of drainage projects already in both execution and planning phase, including things like the completion of the Fishburne Tunnel, the Ashley West project, prospective projects in the Church Creek Drainage Basin, even the low battery seawall. And even what we have on the table, we felt like we needed some assistance in looking at the scheduling, the financing, the fundraising, in fact, for all those projects, and that by having this assistance from Tryon Financial Group would even help us in grant applications to the SIB board and to our state and federal authorities, that we really had it mapped out what our needs were, what our financial needs were in order to put these drainage projects into effect. So we think it would be very positive for our overall effort.
And I get that. I was trying to figure out where this works in there, because we said in December we were going to work on a master drainage plan that was going to cover the whole city.
That's right.
So now we're going and trying to put stuff in line that we haven't even decided necessarily that needs to be in line.
Well,
that's what I was trying to figure out as I was reading through all this.
Well, we don't have an official report on this agenda, but our resiliency committee did meet just this past week, and we spoke about, we had an update from Mark Wilbert about our sea level rise strategies, and by August we will have a more complete update that we'll bring back to the committee and to the entire council, and that will in fact include ballpark estimates for all these projects that we've kind of been having on the drawing board for some time. So we feel like it's not too early for us to already move ahead and do the financial planning and management for what we know about already.
Well, I guess my question then would be, why are we spending $500,000 on a master drainage plan? Because I mean, if we've already got everything in order and we've already decided what we're going to do, why are we?
It's more complicated.
$500,000 for a plan that we haven't gotten out yet, or requested an RFP. That's all I'm asking. I just got confused on this.
You're jumping to another issue, so you're getting ahead of me.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I thank you, Mr. Moody, Councilmember Moody. I think that my understanding of this is it's like you buy the model capacity in order to then use it as time goes on, as we have each one of our drainage planning expenses. You plug it in, and then you can sort of do the what if. So what if we know we need $1 million here, and where do we have that money eligible from existing funds, and then where would our fundraising capacity be? So basically this is the way I understand this, it's a model that will serve us well as we enhance and build out our overall drainage plan. So we're starting with the ability to anticipate what funding needs we have, and I'm sure we do have a lot of examples to use that will give us the best training that we have to use this model, but it's a model that will stay in our possession to be used as we go forward with our planning for the drainage.
And I apologize, Ms. Wharton is not with us tonight. She might add a little more background to this question, but she's on vacation.
Let me just say one other thing. I'm trying to pull up. This was my notes from the stormwater budget 2018. This budget includes 4 new positions. This budget supports the complete implementation of the work order management system. And it goes on down. In order to address the problems of all this flooding and everything, along with our Director of Public Works, prepare a request for qualifications to secure a service to a firm that will be charged with updating our drainage plan, provide project management service after we identify all the challenges we should be best as a cost and priority. Would also include coordination of efforts so that we don't create or transfer a problem from one neighborhood to another, a lot of grants, and it kind of went on down to that. And so that was what we approved in our stormwater budget, and those $2 and all that stuff. And then this came along, it seemed to me like we kind of flipped some of that around and got it back. Everybody's fine with that. I just want to make sure.
Can I add? So I think that this work will be complementary to that.
Okay.
So we won't redo the work if this firm does it. That's just part we won't do with the program management.
I was sort of going to jump in. I actually did talk to Ms. Wharton. We've been talking about this. I mean, First Tryon has done work for the city before. Will just get us in line, our financial ducks in a row, so to speak, to look at all financing opportunities that are out there as we then go back and set priorities for our flooding issues, which we did talk about at the Sustainability Advisory Committee the other day, and prioritization is going to be a big issue, but we need to get out ahead of prioritization. Once we've got them in line, we need to know how we're going to finance all of this, and I think First Tryon has got tons of experience doing that, and this is probably the right gang to get us going. So enthusiastically in favor of this to get our team moving forward and knowing that there is someone behind us looking at all possibilities for funding for what are some large-scale, big, needed drainage projects throughout the entire city. So.
Any other questions, any other comments? We have a motion for the approval. We probably moving that we approve item number 5. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposes? Ayes have it. Item number 6, budget, finance, and collection revenue. 529 meeting. Properly moved, and we'll get a second. Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? The ayes have it. Fire and Police Department approval for a 2018 Port Security Grant. Properly moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? The ayes have it. Number 8, Parks approval to submit 2018 Lowell's Partnership Grant. Councilmember Seekings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just really quickly, as with many of our Ways and Means agendas, we have a number of items that are Parks and Recreation related, which is a good thing because Parks and Recreation are a core service that we provide to our city. Our parks are our pride, our joy, they're our jewels. We're coming into budget season. I know there's been a lot of talk about what we're going to be doing with our parks going forward. For those of you who haven't been out there, we have recently purchased, and it is now up and semi-operational. That's the low line. We actually ran it on Saturday. The tracks are gone. The trestles are gone. It's open. We've got Moultrie playgrounds coming online. We spent a lot of time on our charrettes with the Bikeway and the Greenway in West Ashley. We've got needs out on Johns Island. I think it's time as we come into budget season. I know that for the last 2 years there's been requests that we put together a master plan for Parks and Recreation. I think it's probably a good time to ask Councilmember Gregory and his committee to sort of get us pointed in the right direction so we have a long-term plan going forward for Parks and Recreation. It is something that I think is high time to happen, and no better time than before we go into budget season when we're going to be looking at what we're going to do long-term, both in terms of acquisition of parks land in places like Johns Island, improvement of parks land on the low line, the Greenway, the Bikeway. There's a lot of requirements on that, and I think having a master plan with some identified
On the low line, the greenway, the
prioritization,
bikeway.
Mr. Mayor,
There's a
and
lot
some
of
identified
requirements on
needs for
that, and I
funding and
think having
funding
a master
sources
plan
is probably no better
with
time than
some
now. So I would
identified
enthusiastically
prioritization,
vote in favor of this and ask that we get Councilmember Gregory and his committee working on sending us no good about the master plan so when we come into budget season, we'll see good work this.
There's a lot that we get requirements on that, and I think having a master plan with some identified on the low line, the greenway, the bikeway. There's a lot that we get requirements on that, and I think having a master plan with some identified on the low line, the greenway, the bikeway. There's a lot that we get requirements on that, and I think having a master plan with some identified.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And we had some discussion of approving an upgrade to all our park houses and playgrounds. It's something we can continue to work on. All those in favor of the motion to approve number 8, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposers? The ayes have it. Item number 9, Office of Cultural Affairs, 2018 work. Properly move and second. Item number 9, Office of Cultural Affairs, 2018. Which council we take 9 and 12 together? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers? The ayes have it. Item number 13, Traffic and Transportation.
So moved.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers? The ayes have it. Item number 14, reference to approval of the Summer Food Service Program contract. Properly moving second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers? The ayes have it. Item number 15. Properly moving second that we approve item number 15, summer feeding program also. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposers? The ayes have it. Number 7.
Councilmember, before we go
Councilman.
further, can we make sure that all these mics are working? This one isn't. It'd be very important that this one works.
Okay. He's going to take it.
Testing. Testing.
Testing.
My turn. Yes. We just approved. Okay, 15. We always do it. Finish? Okay. Okay. Item number 15, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. Item number 16, Police Department approval. Properly moving second that we approve the law enforcement assistance agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Yes, sir, Councilman Moody.
I just wanted to ask one, is this agreement, is this with just the Palmer campus, or is this is this a mutual agreement with all of the campuses of Trident Tech? Just the Palmer campus?
That's
I
on
didn't
Lemon
see that.
Street, downtown.
Yeah, I didn't see that stated just that way. Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers? The ayes have it. Item number 17, public service approval of Morrison Drive valve check, order number 1, B and C, land development.
I'll second.
Properly moving second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 18, public service approval of a contract with Pell Motor Canal in the amount of $76,000 to install 3 manholes at the brick arch along Smith Street. Properly moving second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers? The ayes have it. Item number 19, Parks Department Capital Project Charlie Bond parking lot fee.
Second.
Councilmember Moody?
What is this parking area for? I kind of lost. Is this contract that we're dealing with here?
This parking area is immediately behind the School for the Building Arts.
Is it for them or is it for some development out there? That's what I was kind of trying to figure out.
I believe it's a combination of the South Carolina Research Authority and the School of the Building Arts. And Ms. Carducci might share if there's anybody else that we already have lined up for that parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's to service.
Will this be leased to them or is just back there for them or what's the?
I'm sorry, I was out
The question was this parking lot behind the trolley barn. Who is that for? Are we leasing it to some entities or?
So right now we have an agreement with Meeting Street Academy so that they can park people there for the school. And the original intention was to make some parking available for the School of the Building Arts. There's not an actual agreement to that effect right now, but we knew that when they built that, we would need that. The city also has the police station in the South Carolina Research Authority's Innovation Center, and so they have police vehicles that we would be parking there as well. So it's an active, I mean, there's a lot of uses in that area that can.
So do we have leases with, I mean, obviously not with the police station, but with the Meeting Street Academy, do we lease spaces to them or we just providing it?
There's an agreement that they would pay for those spaces that they would use.
These costs, we will recover these costs.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, the anticipation was that, yes.
Thank you.
So just one question. We don't have enough parking space for the police cars at the center over there?
So they park there now. They have some of the vehicles that they used to park there for when they have double shifts. They're parked over at 180 Lockwood now. So, but they can move them back once we have, if we have space, and if the police want to park more vehicles there, they can.
Seemed like they had a whole lot of space over there. Plus, they've been parking over on Cooper Street. Okay, so we'll leave that one alone. All those in favor of this item signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes? Let the minutes show that I vote against this. Thank you. Item number 19.
20.
That's 19, excuse me, number 20. Parks Department capital project approval of federal funding in the amount of $345,000.
Approval.
Second.
Properly moving second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. Public service approval of Columbus Street. Properly moving second. Every approve item number 21. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Councilmember Seekins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Just very briefly, this is another in a series of the check valves that we've been putting around the peninsula. This one in particular is one of the largest drainage pipes in the whole city. And once this check valve is in on the east side, some of the worst parts of the flooding on the east side, this will absolutely protect it. Reed Street, that whole area, yeah, South Street, that whole area is one of, if you go in, you can actually walk through that drainage pipe. It's massive. It'll be the biggest valve, I believe. I thought Franklin was here. I think it's the biggest valve we'll put in through this whole process, and you'll see a huge amount of help on that side of town. Drake Street, which, by the way, I think coupled with this valve is also online to be repaved, so that is an area that really needs some help, Mr. Mayor, and this is going to really start helping give that. On top of that, with some repaving, we'll see some really community improvement over there, so just
Any
FYI.
other questions, comments? Councilman Mitchell?
Yep.
All those in favor of the motion for number 21 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposes? The ayes have it. Item number 22, public service.
Second.
Properly moving second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposes? The ayes have it. Item number 23, public service.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Item number 22. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. Number 24, public service approval of BEC land development. Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. Item number 25, legal approval of... Properly moved and seconded. We approve item number 25. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. Traffic and Transportation, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute on behalf of the City of Charleston franchise agreements with Mark Bryson, Jason Lilia, Saucier Coffee, Clown, and King of Pope for certain designated spaces within the City of Charleston.
26.
Okay.
Which one is he reading?
This should have came before real estate this afternoon.
I haven't. I just put it.
Getting approval. Did we get a second on this one? Okay, properly moving second. Any questions or comments from members of the council? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. Committee on Real Estate, Council Member, who chaired the committee today?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real Estate Committee met a little while ago. We had several items. I'm going to go through them. They're listed on your agenda here. Items A, B, and C were all approved unanimously. Item D was deferred. We then went into an executive session and got an update on the Clement Ferry Road station. No action was taken on that item.
Mr. Chairman.
We had two annexations that were both approved. Then we had an update on the 113 Calhoun Street transfer or possible transfer, and we got an update on that. We got a few problems that we've got to overcome, and we basically told our legal team to keep working on that. And then we had another executive session where we heard a report on the status of the FEMA purchase of property out in the South Point area of Shadamoss. Bridgepoint, that's right. Yeah. And it was some point. But anyway, we approved the purchase of the property, and there was a list of it that was shown at appraised value, unless that person that we're trying to buy the property from wants to appeal it, and they can get their own appraisal. And we've also authorized our legal staff to negotiate with that homeowner as discussed in the executive session. So that was, we came out of executive session and we approved that. The last item in executive session was the purchase from the school district of the Archer School. So we were updated on kind of the status of all of that, and no action was taken on that item. So with that, I make from the committee, I move that we accept the committee's report.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Moody, if I may respectfully correct that item E was not a executive session item. We did
113 was not, yes.
We did approve E, the property off of Clements Ferry Road for the replacement of fire station number 20. I think you mentioned that it was also an executive session item. It was not.
Yes, it wasn't. We were in executive session, and that's right. We came out and authorized the purchase of that. There was a couple of conditions there, were we not, that...
We have a 120-day due diligence period.
We can back out.
And we can back out, and we're going to have our own appraisal done to support the appraisal done by the seller. But we did approve moving forward with that purchase. Right. Yes, sir.
As part of this, Mr. Chairman, we're going to update Councilman White, who was not present at the meeting.
That was the other part of that.
That's correct.
We were going to update him since that's in his district.
That's right. All right, Chairman.
And we discussed that also yesterday in public safety.
Right.
That they're going to update him on this because we certainly need this fire station built. I don't know how many of y'all seen the master plan, but I saw it 20 years ago. The master plan for Daniel Island, and it called for 19 fire stations. I mean, 9 fire stations. I had everybody shocked yesterday with 9 fire stations, and we certainly need to put another fire station over there. It's very important.
Chairman?
Councilmember Gregory?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. Moody, could you sort of elaborate on the legal issues with respect to 113?
Yeah, be glad to. The question really there is that we cannot sell or give to a not-for-profit, a church, that would violate the rule of separation of church and state. We can sell it to them, but it's got to be at fair market value, and that's not our intent.
No, it's not.
I know that's not your intent to buy it, but so we've got to figure out a way to be able to convey this property for that use, but not to the church.
We have a 501c3 nonprofit.
And we needed to check that out, and that's really what the discussion was about, that we needed to check that out and be sure that we had crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. So we're moving in that direction.
Thank you.
Hey, Councilman Moody, why is there still a discussion on the Archer building still on the table?
Why is the what?
Archer, talking about the purchasing the Archer School?
Yeah.
What's the discussion on that?
Well, we've got an issue as to how. I mean, our intent was to buy that property and put affordable housing on it. That's what we're trying to do. But if we've got to spend, throw a number out there, so many $1 million for earthquake mitigation on that building, it all of a sudden is not affordable. So we're trying to see, among other things, how much of that property can be demolished, how much the bar will allow us to demolish it, or whether, so we're still going through our due diligence to see whether or not it's suitable for affordable housing. So that was the update on that.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'll say, like I said a few meetings ago, if we can't demolish that building and build on that property, then it's a waste of taxpayers' money, because they're using that word affordable housing, but there's just no way you're going to put affordable housing, on there. So if the city would love to, Mr. Mayor, that planning department put it on PER agenda to see if we could demolish that building. If not, I think we're just spinning our wheels.
Well, we're trying to get information to make a reasonable decision. I mean, one of the things that the school district, for example, would be they would give us maybe a discount if we provided affordable housing for teachers. Well, it seems that may violate some section of the law of being preferential, and we couldn't do that. So, I mean, we're trying to work through it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So anyway, that's my report. Move for approval.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I was very, interested in that building, and I know that building have a lot of problems, and it's going to cost us a whole lot of money, as I mentioned at the last council meeting, to even do anything with that building. You have asbestos and so much things in that building, and where are we going to get the money from to even go into that building to repair that building? We're talking about affordable housing, and we're using the lip service affordable housing, but there's not affordable housing. And we have lost a lot of housing on that east side. And I'm trying very hard to try to replace back some of the housing that we lost in that area because of betterment, so to speak. So now, I don't think, Mr. Mayor, that we can go and even renovate that building with the money it's going to cost us to do it. So if that building can't be torn down and we can rebuild, and maybe that might bring the cost down if we can rebuild and provide affordable housing in the area. That's the only way it's going to work, because that building is old, and that building needs a lot of work. I think it's going to cost us a whole lot of money to try to go in there and do within the affordable housing. So we need to stop, and to my sense, of talking about affordable housing, and the affordable housing is not there. It's not going to be there when they end up, and that's my problem. Because if it comes that way, you know me, I will not support it.
It's been properly moved and seconded.
Mr. Chairman?
We didn't get a second?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, Councilmember Gregory?
Yeah, quick question for Chairman Moody. On the Archer building, aren't we already aware that it's going to take $10 million just to stabilize it for earthquake? earthquake proofing it? Aren't there some things that are sort of obvious already?
Well, that was a estimate that was given to the school district, whether they could use it for a school, that they would have to do that mitigation. That's an estimate. That's why we're trying to see, I mean, if we can tear that building down, then we don't have that expense.
Right.
Want my microphone again? But that's exactly what we're trying to figure out, is whether, as Mr. Mitchell said, Councilmember Mitchell said, right off the bat, if it's not going to be affordable, we're wasting our time and money, and we're not going to go there. So that's what we're trying to do.
Have they eradicated the termite issue in that building?
Well, there's also a lead paint issue. I mean, we're looking at a bunch of stuff.
Okay. All right.
Again, a lot of that goes away if we can tear the building down.
I agree. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions or any comments on the Real Estate Committee report? It's been seconded and moved that we approve it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers? The ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Before we adjourn the Ways and Means Committee, may I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to share with all our citizens who have come to visit here today, you witness us go through a lot of items very quickly without much, if any, explanation as to what they are, and that's because we've all done our jobs of studying all this, right? But just to share with you a few of the things that we just approved here this evening. One was to provide some funding to support a day resource center to serve those who are experiencing homelessness in our city. This will be at 529 Meeting Street and is scheduled to open the week after next. You heard a number of items. I got to ask the chamber to please keep outbursts to a minimum. A number of items regarding drainage and flooding in our city, and Councilmember Seekings pointed out our great check valve program. We're really looking at every outflow where drainage goes into the harbor and other places to prevent tidal waters from being able to come in. We approved a reapplication for a grant that we are seeking with federal government to build a pedestrian and bicycle separate bridge across the Ashley River to connect the peninsula with West Ashley. We approved a number of parks improvements, funding for the Moja Arts Festival, mitigation for the buyouts of repetitive flooding losses in Shadow Moss and West Ashley, and a design for flooding improvements on Johns Island. So those were just a few of the things that we just approved, and I thought I would point that out.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other business to come before the Committee on Ways and Means? If not, this committee stands adjourned. Thank you.
Give us 2 minutes, we'll start with City Council meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.